Welcome, everyone, to this episode of your Freedom Hub's Free Market Cash Patient. I am your host, Jeff Cantor, along with my co-host, Charles Froman. We're definitely sponsored by the Marketplace for Health, Wealth, and Freedom, and also the Freedom Hub itself, which is definitely the disruptor's intersection. We're trying to connect all of those that are trying to fight for all of our individualized freedom and connecting with all the entrepreneurs trying to do the same thing, where we're all kind of connecting together to be disruptors for a better world, for sure. It's important to realize that we've got some issues out there, and we are specializing in talking about your health in this particular show. And there's some various obvious problems. And as you can see, the key, and this holds true with all of these grassroots issues we face in the country, is it's down to the individual and like their trusted advisor to fix the problem and not rely on any other quote unquote third party. We are tied to some great tools, one of which is this special cash paying app. And we've got a special site set up for this purpose. And you'll find out how you can connect directly with doctors. They publish their pricing in a public forum like Amazon does. Oh, I want to get tires. This model. Oh, look, there's 6 different places offering this tire, and each has a different inducement. And the same with the doctors and stuff. They have different kinds of practices. And we also do alternative medicine in here too. So you get the whole gamut of what's available. You're definitely going to want to visit the website. This is the short version of getting there. Let's shift over there for a quick minute as we get into today's festivities. The full name is mphealthwealthfreedom.com. You'll see there's an awful lot of great drop downs and a lot to learn about. We're going to be focused on the wealth tab today. And in that instance, if you were to click on that particular page, you'll end up over here. And what's good about now, the idea is you need to be in control of your health, as we just said a moment ago. But guess what? Part of your health is your wealth. And we're going to find out why my wealth is my health. Yeah, you're going to find out tonight why this is so and how important it is and how you get to get control. Because that's the other thing. It's one thing to know you have a problem, but then how do I fix it? And a lot of people are great at identifying you got a problem, but their fix is either self-serving to them or they don't even really have one. They're just pointing out there's a problem. So you come over here, it gives you a nice little rundown, some of the key elements about why you need to be in control, and a little bit about this particular guest and how to get into it, and also the fact that we have all of these special videos, which you'll reference, that you'll be able to come in. It's almost like a master course in getting control of your money. And here's a perfect example. You click on one of those and you end up at the main website here to find out about it. So you'll certainly enjoy that. So with that in mind, let's talk for a brief moment about this evening. And I want to get to the one other webinar page. So if you come over here to this link, because we are on the 7 o'clock webinar on Wednesday, and you'll see we have one at 4 o'clock, but here's our one tonight. We also give you a little list of the ones coming up, and then links to the web page to show you. So this webinar tonight will be on all these links come Monday morning. So you just come back here, and this is like your central spot to come to learn about everything, and your one place to come to have all these access points. So Charles, on that note, if you do a little brief intro here would be fantastic.
Gladly, Jeff, and welcome, Sam. We already knew that financial stress hurts your health, but over the past COVID year of 2020, people especially have suffered. The lockdowns from the government to respond to the COVID crisis has sabotaged so many livelihoods that people really are stressed. I know, Jeff, in our Forbes featured health solution for families, that one of our more popular features is our mental wellness benefits for people that are stressed out. So I'm excited to talk about wealth tonight because that is part of our website, Health, Wealth, and Freedom. And we've had a number of friends in this space, but it seems Sam is our permanent partner. I know going back to one of our agents at Pinnacle WFG and our Republican Liberty Caucus partner, leader Matt Nye, who worked with you at Be Your Own Bank, and our friends at FreeBridge, Rich Keel. We have a number of friends and that we want to help in different ways with wealth. But it seems that Sam's Academy for getting out of debt has proven a really good partner as we disrupt and help people with health. Sam's got the goods to help folks with their wealth. Jeff.
Fantastic. That's absolutely correct. And one thing he's going to show you as he kind of goes through the stuff, and why you want to circle back here, is that when you come to this particular tab, that you'll see there's a way to start out by getting a free analysis, and we'll kind of conclude on that. But when you click on it, it'll take you to a special form you'll fill in. It's all anonymous. You send that in, and you're going to get an immediate health check where you're going to know instantaneously how in debt am I, what day I'm going to get out of debt, basically a whole bunch of information in one quick second, all at no cost to you. So it's important for people to understand. It's like anything. I'm in the middle of wherever and I want to get to California, but if I don't know where I am, how am I going to get there? So this is a big part of what this allows you to do, independent of anything else you're trying to do, investment wise, or this or that, or whatever your goals are. Unless you sort out your initial issues, you're just spinning your wheels when you think you're actually getting somewhere. So on that note, let's shift gears and let's let Sam take control of the screen.
All right. Well, thank you, Charles. Thank you, Jeff. This is exciting. I'm excited to bring a guest speaker on about the health sharing plan, which I find is the most exciting thing I've ever done, including with the Debt Network Academy. It's interesting because back in the 80s, I started with Guardian Life, and I was doing a lot of their health insurance plans. They had a specific one for professionals, the doctors, the attorneys, et cetera. And it was really, really amazing how great a program it was. And I found service was the key element. And over the years that I've been in this business, this is so true in every business. If you can service your prospect and client properly and adequately and frequently, you will help them get further along. And that's one of the things I was admired about their health insurance plan. However, things change. And as things change, I progressed and even got into the securities business. I was actually invited to take a friend's company public in the 80s. And I decided to do it myself. And I became a principal in a securities firm. And we took 5 companies public. And, so the experience I have is basically helping people I talk to. And I've also done it myself. I've made the very big mistakes financially. I don't want to get into now, but what helped me come out of those mistakes was actually the software that I decided to jump into about 3.5 years ago. Okay, so we're going to talk briefly about disclosing the synergy between health sharing savings and your debt. And what does it have to do with each other? It really has a lot to do. As Charles was saying, we're in this COVID lockdown. It has changed people's financials as well as their health. And more importantly, the stress. The more financial stress we're finding. We just lost a good friend of ours. In fact, it was Jan's realtor, and he had COVID. And 3 weeks later, he passed away. And I've got another one's wife that has it. And so the society is maybe helping you in the medical field, but the financial end, we're starting to adopt a method of how to use or how to get a financial EKG. And that's something that nobody else is doing. I have to tell you that very proudly. Okay, so mental and physical health effects of losing income are happening every day. And these are just some examples that I took from a health website, and these were the things that they were mainly happening to them each day. And I even find it as an example, Jeff, your referral, he had a lot of stress on how to handle his financials. And we've changed that in just 2 weeks. So when you compound the financial duress of losing income or healthcare payments, that you're making big payments and now you don't have an income and you're making payments of $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a year for healthcare, and you just lost your job, something's got to give. Whether it's the mortgage, a car loan, a credit card, hopefully it's not your health insurance. And this is how we're trying to develop the synergy between the healthcare plan called health sharing, which 99% of America never heard about. So our solution is, do not let debt control your health and lifestyle. Let your lifestyle control your debt and improve your health care. When you relieve that financial stress, knowing that you can make those bills, whether you're taking it from a 401k loan, whether you're doing 72T, coming from an IRA if you're only 45, these are tools that most people don't know about. And we've done these videos on these different tools, which you can get on the website of Health, Wealth, Freedom. So we're asking you to take the challenge. The only tool that can really help you bring in results in 30 days, it also helps you increase credit scores in 90. And there's no cost with our affiliation with Health, Wealth, Freedom for you to see your numbers. Well, it all comes down to you managing your money. Get control, not to let the investment management people manage your money. We're not talking about managing investment money. We're talking about your daily income, living paycheck to paycheck. And look at this statistic right here. Back in August 2019, 46% of the people attributed their stress to the pandemic. Okay, now in May of 2020, it was 70%. If this got updated by the organization that did it, it's probably 90%. And it wasn't just the economy, it was also at work. And it's jumped from 64% to 70%. Let's talk about briefly the parent versus non-parent. You know, parents staying home. My daughter has been home with her daughter for actually 7 months now in Phoenix. And she's working from home until June of this year. It's a whole change of attitude and mainly financial stress. But look at this. Even if you're a non-parent, the ratio of 0 to 10, what effect is this having on people? And parents, it's at 6.7. It's probably at 8 right now. But this is just from 2019 and 20. So where do you find solutions? You can talk about it, you can read about it, you can listen about it, but until you do it, you'll never understand it. And that's the whole key element here for our DNA course, which is only 90 days and inexpensive. So the rising cost of healthcare puts a lot of financial pressure, not only on employers, but on employees. In fact, this quote real quickly, 89% of employers believe rising healthcare costs are a significant source of financial stress for their employees. So what about our Health, Wealth, Freedom services? We provide a one-stop shop for analyzing your personal financial EKG and, which I'm going to introduce a guest in a few minutes, your healthcare costs. What if you were able to save $200, $300, $500 a month on your healthcare? What would you do with the savings? All right, and we have a little clip that Jeff introduced one of our clients. We're not going to get to it now, but his wife lost her job, and he was on our financial DNA program. And because he was able to see where the changes he made, he's still okay. Jeff had asked him what kind of stress, and he said, it really didn't put any stress because I know exactly where I'm going. So I would like to introduce right now Janice Capote. She's our guest tonight. She's spent extensive years in the healthcare, and back in 2012, as we got together through a referral, we merged our knowledge. She taught me about the healthcare. I taught her about the debt and the life insurance and the estate planning. And so we've worked together now in a tag team, and both of us have the same philosophy: the client comes first. So Jan?
So I've been in the insurance business since 1998. And previous to that, I was a licensed optician, had my own optical practice for 30 years. So I have some medical background. But life insurance and health insurance gave me the opportunity to continue to work with people, which has always been my passion, helping people and doing the right thing for them. And so when we're talking about health insurance has really, the cost has gone through the roof. And this is a problem for many people. They can't afford it. And medical cost sharing has a concept that's actually been around for 35 years or more, mostly through private churches, but now it's become more of a public offering, and it's available to anyone who is interested, anyone who would like to save money on the cost of healthcare if you're not already receiving it through your employer, or if your employer's plan isn't the best, you may want to take a look at what we have to offer to see if maybe it could help you in some way. So the average national monthly health insurance cost for one person as of 2019 was $612 a month before tax subsidies, and that does not include your deductible, which we call the You Go First deductible, excuse me, because you have to pay that deductible in advance of the insurance company paying for any of your medical bills, hospital bills. The co-insurance, which kicks in after the deductible is met, could be as much as 40% of additional medical costs. This one shows 80-20. So $612 a month plus your deductible and co-insurance. For a family, $1,437 a month plus your deductible and co-insurance. And that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to health insurance costs. Medical cost sharing is you in control of your health care, open network, go to just about any doctor or facility in the country that you choose. It's available in all 50 states for the most part. And the cost is much, much lower. So you're looking here at a monthly cost of $215 for a single person. And that is with a $1,000 initial unshared amount. And what that typically means is, should you be in the hospital for surgery or some major medical issue, you're responsible for the first $1,000, and the cost sharing community will pay 100% of the remaining cost for as long as that condition remains. So there's a tremendous amount of savings. Family plans start at $395, again with a $1,000 initial unshared amount for major illness or injury. Medical cost sharing, in my opinion, is far superior to traditional health insurance, in that it gives you the freedom to see any doctor. We have the best virtual health care I've ever experienced. Tremendous savings on prescriptions. If you're self-employed, you also have the option of having a wellness visit, so you get your annual physical at no cost to you. And you also have the availability of a health savings account. So there are some additional services available to those who are self-employed. With health insurance, it does cover major medical, and so does medical cost sharing. Your deductibles are applied to the cost of your medical needs. With medical cost sharing, it's initial unshared amounts. You have a network of doctors with your health insurance, or you can choose any doctor with your medical cost sharing, and on and on. Higher monthly premiums versus lower monthly share amount. Government subsidies if you have health insurance. No government subsidies, but the cost savings is tremendous. So it equals or even sometimes is lower than even a subsidized health plan with the federal government. Both are 100% accepted, although with medical cost sharing, there are 3 years of pre-existing conditions look back. So in some cases, I would advise you not to go on this plan if you're currently being treated for a major medical condition. Corporations for the benefit of shareholder versus benevolence organization for the benefit of the members. So medical cost sharing is actually a community of like-minded individuals who all agree to cover each other's medical costs above and beyond an amount that is affordable to them. So you are in control with a medical cost sharing plan versus dealing with a health insurance company that's in control of you. The website on the left in the black square is yourchoice.mpb.health. That takes you directly to the website, my website, which will give you all of the details of the medical cost sharing plan, the plans that are available, and all of the services that are associated with it. And I can tell you that we have the best team of people available to help you every step of the way. Our concierge department is second to none. People that are on our medical cost sharing plan, anytime they have a question, need help, they contact the concierge. A live person answers the phone during regular business hours and helps them with any needs or issues that they may have. It's just a tremendous program. My favorite thing of all, because it helps people. So how can health sharing plans save you monthly costs to reallocate to debt or build more wealth? For instance, if you are paying a lot for a health insurance plan and you switch to a medical cost sharing plan and are able to save hundreds of dollars a month, now you have that additional funds to do many things with. You can save it. You can use it to pay down debt if you're working with Sam and the Debt Network Academy. Just about everyone has some debt. And the less debt we have, the wealthier we become. And so that's our goal, is to help people save money, be healthy, relieve them of stress, and be financially free. So here is a chart with the cost of our Care Plus plan for any individual. These are the prices that you would pay per month. And so you have 3 different levels, 1,000, 2,500, or 5,000. That is the initial unshared amount compared to a deductible. But in medical cost sharing terms, it's initial unshared amount. And the pricing for members only goes from $215 down to $165, and for a family, $550 to $395. So even at the lowest unshared amount, $550 for a family is a tremendous cost savings versus thousands of dollars that health insurance is charging these days. So then again, there's much more than just going to a doctor or being treated for a medical condition, because we do cover many different aspects of your health. It's health and wellness via naturopathic, acupuncture, chiropractic, some of the preferred means of treating aches and pains and other issues. We have personal trainers and different programs that are available to our members. If you need to lose some weight or have other eating disorders or need diet nutrition for pre-diabetes, we have individuals that can help with programs that can help with that. And lifestyle needs such as dental, hearing, and vision. And there's just so much to this program. And mental health is also included in that. That being said, you have an opportunity to, if you already have health insurance through an employer, but need some additional benefits, we have a program that does not include the medical cost sharing portion, but it includes the virtual health care, discounts on prescriptions and things like that, other solutions that you may have, and all of this is on the website. And the cost is anywhere between $29 for a single person and $49 for a family. And it's just a tremendous program. I encourage everyone to take a look at it as a supplement to their current plan. And also, if you were to become a medical cost sharing member, this program is automatically included.
Thank you for that. Jan, great job of explaining how that works. And let me just get this slideshow started again. All right, and by the way, that's unbelievable how people don't even realize that complement to their existing plan that was $27 a month. That's just remarkable. In fact, the information you just provided in such a short period of time, but very thorough, I'm wondering why people don't line up to talk to you about this, just like they're lining up to get a shot. So the question is now, what do you do with 200? In fact, 200 is very conservative. I've seen plans where Jan actually was saving over 500 a month for clients. So what do you actually do with it? Well, what's effective here is if you're using the software, you can go into the software and say, basically, what if I had the extra 200 a month of we call discretion, meaning now that I got it, saved it from my healthcare, I can use it into my plan. So this is just a dashboard, as we call it. Here's a client that's been on it for a number of times, a number of years. You can see that they only have 11 years left. But if they just added that 200 a month, they dropped from the savings plan on the healthcare down to 8 years. That means all their debt. This is not just mortgages. And the dashboard is so cool because you can see here that as they were moving along, the software tells you where to save money in your savings account until you reach a point where it's above your discretion, meaning we don't want to deter from your lifestyle. So here you see without that extra 200, and they've been using this, it tells you when they're going to transfer, which in this case was 3/5/22. They're going to transfer money from 5467 of their savings account, which the software does for you. They don't transfer it themselves, but it shows you to do that. But look at what happened. Now, with just 200 a month, I dropped and saved 3 years and 1 month, and the payments on the mortgage are over $2,000 a month. So when you think 37 payments times $2,000 is an amazing amount. So now they have a transfer coming up in August, and it's $56.86 to the penny. This software can help you. Now, it's more than just the technology. It's also providing one of the most fascinating budget systems. It's not a spreadsheet. In fact, last week I got one from a client, and they had this detailed Excel spreadsheet with all their debts, the due dates, but it didn't tell them where they were headed, which in this case was 27 years, and they owed $248,000 of interest. That they can't see from a spreadsheet, but you can do that. The budget system comes with the software. Quite amazing. In fact, this is a analysis from last year on a client. What's interesting is you're seeing last year's budget. Look at this. In this case, they transferred $15,000 to debt that they didn't even think they had. In fact, they didn't even think they could gather that kind of money. So the software is analytical. It works interactively to your lifestyle. And if you don't want to transfer money, you just tell it instead of 5,400, I transferred 1,000. Instantly, the dashboard changes. So what does your financial EKG, look like? Is financial stress causing you health issues or increasing your risk with COVID? If you can get control and you can find out about how to lower costs, whether it's from your health care or your lifestyle or your debt, you'll live longer. And the real cost, the real analogy here is you don't have to pay anything to take a look. It's a free comparative report, and we now are implementing a worksheet that if you fill out the DNA worksheet, once you get started, we then have Jan come in at a free analysis of your health care. What's your health condition? How much are you spending? Would the health sharing work for you or not work for you? And we're not here to move you into something you don't need. But when you put these two together, it's a phenomenal result. I want to just point out, we don't have enough time right now, but Jan has a great little presentation on living benefit term and also what we call health matching accounts. And that's not HSA or health sharing or health savings accounts. And we'd like to do another episode over the next few weeks together on these two elements. We have saved people thousands of dollars on their medical and using a low-cost term policy. And most people don't even know about it, including agents don't know about it. But if you were terminally ill, chronic, critically, or injured, depending on the severity, could you imagine that you could get an advance on your death benefit? And it has nothing to do with who it pays. When you do that, it goes, the money is a cash. It's like cash patient. The cash comes to you. You do what you want based on the severity of the illness that your doctor diagnoses to the insurance company. And then when you have this health matching account, which does need its own 30 minutes, you will double your deposits in 3 years. And when you put those together, health sharing, health savings, health matching, and the Debt Network Academy software, you have a real winning situation. So Jeff, I'm going to turn it back to you, and thank you for letting us give you some information and your guests about how we can help.
That's excellent. Thanks very much. And before we do that, and I'm going to have you mute you for a second, Sam, just to cut down some background noise. I would like to have Jane Dolan, who happens to be on here. And what's nice is she's just an average person. She's married. She's had the run of the mill. She never really was like abusive, like some people we run into. They have like 18 credit cards and they're all maxed out or anything silly like that. But a typical person that had, a few debts, mortgage, the typical type of stuff, and the difference it made in her life by having something like this in place. So Jane, if you can indulge me for a minute.
Sure. Great presentation, by the way. But yeah, I think that there's such a disconnect. I mean, we're so siloed in how we look at our health and our wealth. They are so intermingled. And when you have financial stress, it does spill over. And I had stress from the unknown. I really didn't know where I stood. And once I got this program, it really gave me a clear map of where I am, at all places and time. And it's been so, so helpful to just relieve that level of stress in my life, to know where I'm at.
That's great, for sure. And to talk about stress for a minute, Jane is registered as a nurse, so at least she understands from a medical reality what that can really do. So here she was her own patient in many respects. And as we got a chance to learn about this and interact with Sam, she started to be able to do a lot of what ifs. And Sam didn't talk about that very much, but for a lot of people, let's say this thing figures out that we can get you out of debt next amount of time, but then you're like, geez, what? I'd really like to get a new car though. How could I do that? I still want to get out of debt in 11.1 months, type of thing. How do I make that still happen? Well, on your own, you're not going to figure that out. There'd be no way. Your accountant's not going to be able to help you. Your broker who's trying to pick a stock for you, they can't help you on that part of it. And even Sam can't help you. You need a tool that can actually respond to you, where you can hit all these hypotheticals, like a diagnostic tool that doctors use to figure out what is wrong and where do we go to cure this patient. And so that was what was great for Jane and anybody that I've experienced. One other little thing to add in there, and Sam, and you weren't tooting your own horn on this one, as I've seen people get engaged with this that are families, invariably after a certain amount of time, a year or so, they'll suddenly say, what, this is great that it's getting out of debt, but even better, and not only is it getting out of debt, we're focusing on that because it really, once you start to get to that crossroads, you're not only still getting out of debt, but you're actually building wealth up because you don't have enough lifespan to get out of debt and then suddenly start saving for retirement. You got to do them both at once, and this thing manages that. But they would interject and say, what, this thing has saved our marriage because we used to get into fights over money all the time. And the problem is neither of them know anything about money, so they can't solve the problem that they argue about all the time. So it's got a lot more going for it than you were exposing there, Sam. Charles, I see your hand is up.
It is, Jeff, and Sam and Jan, great presentation. It's nice to see the holistic approach to health and wealth. I have a question for each of you, and after that, Jeff, I might invite Dr. Campbell to comment on Jan's presentation about basically cutting your health care payment costs in half with sharing. And then the health savings account, of course, is always good. how he sees, his work in health reform, making it more affordable as being a powerful empowerment stimulant for families to save money, for the country to save money. Before he does that, real quick, Sam, when you get people comfortable showing them that they can get control of their finances and get rid of debt, how do you transition that into advice on how to grow their money a bit with investments? And then for Jan, can you give us a Cliff Notes elevator pitch real quick about that living benefit for chronic care? So many patients that we sell to have chronic issues that they're desperate about, and then that money doubling health matching account. So a question for each of you, Sam, Jan, and then Dr. Campbell. Are you all muted?
Yeah, we were muted. I'm unmuted now.
Go ahead, Sam.
Okay, and Jan will just briefly give you a little bit of insight about living benefits off of the death benefit, as you questioned. But regards to transitioning from the getting control of your debt and seeing where it's going, and now start to accumulate wealth in different vehicles, I have to really convey to you that if someone already has investment people in place, we're not here to ruin that relationship at all. However, 80% of the time I find, and over the years I've been doing this, that people are seeking alternatives from what they have. Not that they're looking to destroy a relationship. It's just that, well, what do you have differently? You showed me my debt and the cost of money and how to save hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest that the bank does not get. What if I did this, or what if I can do that? So we give them knowledge, Charles. For example, 72T, you can take money out of an IRA even if you're 38 years old without a penalty. These type of tools are not readily available. And even if you called a CPA or you called your financial person, they may have never used it. Back in the 90s when I was with Merrill Lynch, Charles, I used 72T, Section 72T of the IRA, at least 15 to 20 clients who were let go back then on their job, had a rollover to Merrill Lynch, but they were 50 and couldn't touch it unless they wanted to pay a 10% penalty plus income, plus the income of the amount. So there are ways that they will learn during the course of what you bring up, but we're not here, again, to disrupt their relationship, but only if they have no help. A lot of clients haven't talked to their agents or their brokers in years, and so they've been doing it themselves with, let's say, a Charles Schwab and all that. So we can help them. We have tools that most people haven't heard about, but that's how we address that.
Jan, you want to add your little part?
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Oh, very good. So living benefits. In the past, if someone purchased life insurance, whether it be a term policy or a permanent policy, there were no benefits available except a death benefit. So in order for anyone to take advantage of that program, one had to die. Now, living benefits have been added in many states that will allow someone to take a portion of their death benefit. So an example, if you were terminally ill and you had a $100,000 life insurance, term life insurance policy, and you needed some cash to help you with your expenses or make some settlements in your life so that you don't leave your loved ones with this burden, you can draw on that life insurance policy up to the amount that the insurance company will allow, usually 90% of the death benefit. The remainder would go to your family after you passed. And you can utilize that cash to help with the expenses. That's really important not to have that kind of financial stress at such a difficult time, and for you and for your family. And so it's also available for critical, chronic, or injuries. So you get hurt, you can't work for a period of time. If you're a self-employed person, this could be a critical thing for you, because if you can't work, you can't earn money. So how are you going to pay your bills? If your injury is severe enough, you can draw on your life insurance policy and utilize that money to help you live. And so that's just in a nutshell what living benefits can do for someone. And I think it's an important tool for everyone to have. So if you have life insurance and you do not currently have living benefits as part of it, we certainly could take a look at what you have and see if there's a way for you to take advantage of those services.
That's
As
really
far as the health matching account is concerned, the simplest way to explain it is a savings account. So you are putting money into a savings account. But the savings account is a matching account, which means that if you give me $1, I'll give you $2. And so you're building up, you're doubling your available monies, and they can be used for any medical service, even if it's something that your health insurance doesn't cover. So for instance, if you need to have a crown, tooth crown, or major dental surgery, and it's thousands of dollars, if you have a health matching account, you can draw the money out of that account to pay for those services. So it's like getting a 50% discount on the cost of that dental service. That's just one example, but it's a tremendous program to have to supplement any out-of-pocket costs that you may have, even if it's to help defray the cost of a health insurance deductible or a medical cost sharing initial unshared amount.
Oh, that's very good. And that is critical. All of the concept here is to be able to allow that person to get away from their debt faster. Again, everything here we're talking about is being in control. You being in control, not the credit card company, not the auto loan company, not the insurance company. You're in control. And then just concurrently, now that I'm in control, I can redeploy all these dollars in a much smarter way. And again, you want to use experienced people, know how to leverage various components to create one unified program that's simple to operate, but yet look at how many cylinders it's firing on. Dr. Campbell, I'd like to certainly have your take on it.
Oh, great presentation, and I would. I'd like to make a comment on the broader program. Then I have a question for the medical aspect. The comment I have is that, we're seeing COVID-related anxiety, angst, stress, depression, but I think we're also seeing a broader economic anxiety, angst, depression. And I was giving a presentation yesterday, and you can look at a 10-year period and wages have gone up about 17%, and higher education costs have gone out about 100%, and healthcare has gone up about 250%. So I think what you're seeing is the middle class is getting crushed, and you're losing what we always have had in the past, being able to become enter into the middle class with hard work and effort, or even go from the middle class to the upper class and have economic comfort. And that's being taken away, I think, by these uncontrolled healthcare costs and secondary education costs. So I love what you're doing, and I think maybe that's just a little different angle on the causation. But I have a question, because I'm wondering, what audience are you targeting? Like in Pennsylvania, we have about 14 million people. Obamacare really became a Medicaid expansion. So we went from like 1.6 million to maybe 3.5 million are now on some form of a medical assistance. The government with Medicare and medical assistance covers about half. And then the other half are a mix between underinsured or self-insured, and then people who have employee insurance. So I'm wondering, who are you targeting? Who do you find this program helps the most? Which of those tranches?
Well, I'm waiting for Jan to jump in there. I can certainly address part of that question, because for the person that's getting it from work, they're really not a good objective clientele to go after, because even if the plan's mediocre, paid for by work is pretty hard to beat.
Right.
Although sometimes, and what's happened of late, used to be in the old days when you worked somewhere and you were a family, you got like this special price. But now they say, well, look, as it turns out, only you work here. Your spouse and kids don't work here. So only your part is going to get this preferred pricing. And if you want to add your spouse and kids, it's full retail price. So this is a good program for that spouse and the kids, because we have a single parent version available. So that's good for them. And then definitely anybody that owns their own business. I'm a plumber. I maybe have a couple,
Right.
2, 3 employees maximum, but I'm paying on my own. I'm making just enough money to not qualify for some subsidy from the government. And for a lot of people, they don't realize when you say, oh, I'll get this subsidy and my premium's lowered to X. Yeah, but then you get a statement from the government, you owe taxes on that money that they gave you to offset the cost of the insurance premium. So you got to kind of look at the whole structure of it. And then other people getting it at work, or however they may be having some level of access to it, but the quality is so poor or so minimalist, yet the price is sky high. And, you know, we always tell everybody with this plan, and Jan, you can kind of take it from here. I see you're back on, is that if you just have a plan that only pays for you ending up in the hospital and you never get hospitalized and you had like one checkup in the last 3 years, what are you getting every day for all that money you spend? And so in this instance, you're getting daily, you know, exercise regimen, dietitian assistance, all sorts of health mechanisms to help you ward off the need to use. Because most people say, hey, I'd rather, if I knew I could have done X, Y, and Z and not had a heart attack, I would have done it. But my health insurance never taught me how to be preventative. They only were there to help me when I fell on my butt. And so that's a big difference too. Jan, why don't you kind of fill in the gap there?
Yeah, I had a thought a second ago and I just lost it. No,
It's
you're absolutely right. Everything you've said is right on target, Jeff, in terms of employer-based plans not covering the family. This has been an issue, and so we carve out those people, meaning that we take the family members that are paying full price for the employees' health plan, and we put them into a medical cost sharing plan that saves the family a ton of money. Now, with that cost savings, what can you do with that extra money? Well, again, you can apply it to the Debt Network Academy, your Health, Wealth, and Freedom program. You can also apply it to the HMA and build some cash to help you offset some costs that you may have down the road. So there's so many good reasons for participating. Plus, you have the freedom to go to any doctor you choose, any facility you choose. We even shop the marketplace for the best qualified physicians and facilities for you when you need to have something done. And that's something your health insurance company does not do for you. They limit your choices.
Yeah, and I was just going to say one thing to interject though on that, Janet, which is so good. You know, the difference here now is like Charles liked to say, everybody likes an all of above approach. So if you have a normal insurance program and they have a network and everything's sort of kind of limited to the people that they allow to be a part of it, and something's wrong with your back, somehow invariably you're going to potentially be getting back surgery. But in an all places world, you might be able to get therapy through massage or acupuncture or chiropractic or something before you had to go to the step of getting, you know, surgery, because maybe in the end you do need that. You know, not to say there's anything wrong with getting surgery, but is it the first thing you need to do? And if I'm a surgeon and this is what we do here, what do you think you need? So when you're in control, you get to see the spectrum of what potentially are your options, and then you get to choose or walk your way through, crawl, walk, run until you finally get to that final solution. So being in control allows you to do that sort of stuff. And then we sort of didn't say so out loud, but you can go to other states. Let's say I figure out that I do need surgery, but it's 1/5 the price, like 5-hour drive away from here. Well, maybe I want to do that. And then again, if I save all that money, well, where would I redirect that money? So now suddenly all these other tools that I've already got in place suddenly make sense, because I'm thinking left hand, right hand for a change, instead of just focusing on like how much is my car payment, and you don't think of it in context with the rest of your world. So that's great. And Dr. Campbell, have you seen much in the way of like stress? I mean, what are you encountering as far as the psychological aspect of what's happening to people besides the obvious
Yeah,
crashing financially, you said?
I think it's an absolute epidemic. And, you know, there are theories that we have this ultra connected world and we're on information overload and this and that. But I think it's the government policies and economics that are killing the middle class. But let me follow up with a question, maybe a dream of mine. Okay, so I'm a company. I have a company, and I have the insurance merchant, the broker, come to me, and 35 family policies. They cost me $25,000 each, and I have employees who are happy to have it. But you know what? Nobody's really happy with their insurance because it's all the things you guys talk about. It's a $5,000 copay, and they don't cover all the things that you think are important, like preventive care, and there's no flexibility, and there's and I know there's ERISA regulations, but is there any way to take what you guys are doing and take it to a company, take it to a state like Pennsylvania, and say, okay, as an insurance broker, you can have, here's the three competing traditional insurance policies. They're $25,000 each. Or here is a health sharing plan, and it's a little different. And oh, by the way, we can do the same thing for 15,000. Is there any way to do that? Is that just a dream, or
Jeff, explain the ICRA.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's a little bit of a dream. Yeah, it's a little bit of a dream, sadly, in certain aspects of it, because it is doable what you said. But sadly, you know, there's a Department of Insurance in these states, so they have a vested interest in maintaining that reality. So that's against the stream. It's individual brokers could readily defeat that, because if every broker just walks in and says, look, I represent whatever. And again, if you're looking at client first, the guy goes, oh, I'm in the middle of cancer treatment. Well, I'm not going to even bring it up, because I know this isn't suitable. You're going to, because I want to make a sale. So you'll show them what fits. And by helping them do the right thing, I end up making money. So it's a forced win-win in that regard. But the other side is that it really has this ICRA capability, and we'll see if this persists, because, you know, they're potentially going to reverse different things with this new administration. But the luxury of the ICRA is that it allowed the employer to say, look, instead of us having a company plan, because, you know, one person out of 10 loves the plan, the other two hate it to death, the other are indifferent. And then next year we switch because it got expensive to me as the employer. So I switched to a different plan. Now everyone in the place hates it, but it's paid for. So that kind of thing. Instead, as an ICRA, I just give you money. I say, look, here's what I would normally spend across the board. Your share of it, everybody, here's money, do whatever you want with it, you know, just this way you don't have to be stuck with what I've chosen as your employer. And that's a really fantastic situation. We'll see how well that starts, because it's just not rolling out, and we'll see if the states get behind it. But that by itself largely gets to what you would like to have happen. Now it's just a question of meeting the agent that has the full choice array, but that solves your dilemma of getting that person untethered from work, so to speak. And if I'm a small business owner, frankly, I prefer it, because I don't want that guy come in here and pitch me every year about the newest, you know, insurance plan. I hate them all. So let me just give the people the money, because I'm here making widgets. I want to focus on widget making, not become a insurance analyst. Let my employees pick what they like themselves, suitable to their family, and I just give them the money to do with it, and my hands are done, and I'm washed of the whole thing. So,
and Jeff, if I can add to that,
yes, please do.
So basically, the ICRA, the individual coverage health reimbursement arrangement, is going to allow healthy workers to get sharing, because it's half the cost of insurance, and it's better because there's no network. And then the sick employees are going to get an exchange plan with this HRA-based subsidy from the employer. They'll have coverage. It'll be an insurance plan that doesn't limit pre-existing. So you'll have happy folks, healthy employees, sick employees, and the boss is just paying a check, and there's no group hassle. So yeah, it's a big improvement.
I mean, from an employer's perspective, it's like the difference between a defined benefit retirement plan and a 401k. I'm like saying, okay, 401k, it's yours. You know, I'll put in money, you put in money, and then I'm free of everything else, right? So it's actually would be smarter and better for the employer.
And in that analogy, though, you're right, because let's say I want an aggressive 401k, and I pick those kinds of stocks, and the other person
Right.
wants something more stable. Same thing with health. I mean, I never go to the doctor ever. Why do I want to spend a lot of money on my health insurance? Other people like, I got all these kids who are forever at the doctor's office. Well, right there's a difference. This way they pick what's suitable. They're going to like it. It's their decision. If they don't like it, guess who they have to blame? Themselves. They can't say, oh,
Yeah.
that boss at work, that guy gave me that, or she forced us to have that plan. Big difference.
Well, and I don't want to monopolize this, but let me just put out a little bit of information. This is new as of yesterday, even. So about 3 years ago, I put out a proposal to a lot of people for a gazillion dollars to do what I just described somehow. Bring together all these silos of free market organizations that are doing things here and there, whether it's DPC docs or these share insurance plans like Sedera or the ministry shares and all that stuff, and do something holistically integrated in a big way as a project to see how much money we could save and promote it to employers. And it got nixed because of that project that JP Morgan and Amazon did. Atal Gawande, who headed it, and so they said, we like the idea, but these big pockets are going to do this, and we're going to let them do that. Well, that went away. I don't know if you've heard that dissolved, and I've gotten feedback now. Hey, we think we want to do this, and so this was just as of yesterday. I had a meeting, so I'm trying to get my head around all of this, and obviously it's going to be bringing in experts and integrating these things. But I think the key to get critical mass is to get the employers and the patient's needs, and then create an insurance product that has the insurance company's success in alignment with the company's success and the patient's health. Because right now we don't have that. And so I'm hoping something big will happen, and I'll let you know when I know more. But that's my fantasy, and I thought it was dead 3 years ago, and now it may come back.
No, it's making more sense, and there's other things that we're going to start to continue to incorporate. Some pre-diagnostic capabilities and the like. And again, we've also gone to a list billing mentality. So this way, even the smallest of employers can readily, for a change, be able to offer some sort of a health program for their employees, but be so far removed and so easy. Like Charles said, I just stroke a check, but I look like a hero, and I'm doing all this great stuff. But it's all integrated. But what's nice is because it's all kind of lumped together but written individually. If I fire or the person quits, they take the plan with them. They're not stuck. Oh, I'm going to stick it out here of this company. I hate this company, but that health program and my kid's
Right.
sick. They can walk and nothing changes in their world. And that's our bigger problem too, is how do we untether healthcare from work? And that's a part of it. So it's, we're
Yeah.
picking them off, and it's like anything, it's a critical mass thing. And potentially, where this administration may try to take things might help amplify and accelerate this, because usually that's when everybody looks to escape, is when the other side gets even worse than it's been. So we'll see. Real quick, we've run out of time here. Just to do a quick close out here, and again, I could take a million more questions, and there's other hands, so I apologize. But if you come to this site again, you want to come to the Freedom site. mphwf.com is the acronym, and then you click on the Wealth tab, and you'll see it says click here for a free analysis, and there's a little button here to click on right here. Or you go all the way down here, you got this nice situation where you're kicking it on the beach, and you will definitely be able to do that truthfully if you do this properly. You click here, and both of those take you to the same place. It creates this downloadable form. And in this instance, because it's only about the math, they don't need your social security number or any kind of personal information. You can say mortgage company number one, none of that matters. It's all about the numbers. And this thing, it's like a GPS. It may be a lot of twists and turns for me to drive, not on the freeway. I want to get off the freeway. I want to drive all the back roads from New York City to LA. There's a lot of lefts and rights, but when I'm sitting in my driveway in New York and I type it in my GPS, instantly it tells me when I'm going to arrive in LA, and it already figured every turn I got to take. That's exactly what this thing does. So when you give this data over to Sam, you fill it in, just email it in, they're going to create a report that you're going to go through, and you're going to be blown away when it shows you where you are based on where you tell it you want it to go, and it's going to show you how fast you can get there. And as a simple description, if with 6 different bills or 720 different ways that you could put a little on this and a little on that to pay them, but in reality there's only one that's the quickest to zero. And that's exactly what this tool is doing for you. And then if you throw a curveball like, oh my gosh, my car broke down, I need to spend $1,500 for a new transmission. Well, that blew your whole little plan, did it not? But guess what? Just like GPS, you blew the turn, the very next block, it's got you turning and you're back on track again. And this allows you to sleep at night, save your marriage, and take all that financial stress off of your health. So I would certainly encourage everybody to take a free try. And like I said, you'll be glad that you did. So Sam, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Thank you very much, Jeff and Charles and everyone that attended. And we're here to help. That's our goal. And thank you for being part of Health, Wealth, Freedom.